and the 30.
I was talking, or I was trying to define or making you understand what aesthetics was. I was using some terms yesterday. I was talking about art and how art or nature or how rasa is produced and things like that. But right now, let me concentrate more on the art experience today and how aesthetics and philosophy are related, and how nature and art and how these things play a major role in making you understand, or in making in making you understand what aesthetics is trying to say, or what Indian aesthetics is trying to say. Okay, so see, you cannot separate aesthetics and philosophy, because you do it, it's like far from being it becomes a kind of defect. And but if you do it, what happens is it's a kind of pros and cons thing. So you have pros and you have even cons. So here you have some advantages, but you what happens is, the moment you start looking aesthetics and philosophy separately, what happens is it becomes free of ideological constraints. Like, see, so there is a particular ideology. You should have heard the term ideology. So ideology, everybody has an ideology. Like everybody, to put it in a very general manner, ideology is like something like I have a particular idea in my mind, and what I do is I behave, or I act in accordance to that particular idea. And if I am acting, thinking, or doing or taking any sort of action, I'm following a particular ideology. And who discovered this idea is, like, again, you go into the society, like you find people out there, like for instance, Marxism, Leninism, communism, socialism. You can take any ism, and every ism, in one sense or other, they become ideologies, and people start taking that idea and they act in accordance to that particular ideology. So, but what happens here is, once you separate philosophy from aesthetics, aesthetics becomes ideological free. Like, there are no constraints anymore to ideology, to aesthetics. Just a moment. Fine. Yeah, yesterday I was talking about senses, if you remember, and I was talking particularly about sound, how sound affects you, or how sound takes you to a sort of happiness. We were talking about happiness. Yesterday in VRK, one of your colleagues or one of your comrades was telling me, or making me remember, but I forgot actually to even mention those words there. See, there are some words like Ananda, Paramananda, Brahmananda. So these are levels. Yesterday I was speaking in a very general manner, like level 1, level 2, level 3, or things like that. So these levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. So the moment you elevate yourself to various levels, you remember me talking about levels. If I put a word, or if I use a term which is more prone to aesthetics as a subject, then I can use those words. But I thought I could use slowly while I'm talking about the theory of aesthetics, rather than talking at the base level. So, but today I think I have to use them, or I have to talk them in using those terms. So right now, when we are talking about aesthetics and philosophy, yeah, you can check out your page number. That's 165. If you need, just keep that in front of you. While I'm talking, yeah, I was talking about sound. That's dhwani. See, dhwani plays a major role. I was talking about how it influences your way of thinking, or how it can elevate you to a high level. What is the primary aspect of nature and art or aesthetics according to Natya Shastra is that they have to elevate your level of thinking, or they should take you to great heights called Ananda. And remember, Ananda cannot be translated into happiness. Ananda is Ananda. Anandam is different from happy. If you say happy, if you ask me to translate it into Telugu or to our native to our local languages, it's something like santosham. But santosham is different from Anandam. Sir, don't Europeans or doesn't English have a word that is similar to Ananda? No, I don't think so. Because you say happiness, they have happiness. They have some other terms according to their own geographical conditions or their cultural conditions. But when it comes to the East, you have a term called Ananda, and that Ananda is like level 1. And how do you first achieve that? Let me go into that particular topic right now. See, nature and art, how are they interrelated, or how can you put them into how can you talk about them, or how to understand that particular concept? Is like yesterday I concluded the class, or
excuse me, sir, can I?
Yeah, sure. No,
Ananda is going to be stick with you forever, but Santosha is going to be stick with you for a minute and for a little bit, for a while. That's the main difference.
No, it's not about differences. I am not defining them as such, because
you're not defining, sir. You're telling more explanation, but in a small bit that I'm trying to say from my side.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you are saying is Ananda sticks to you forever. Yes.
Yeah, forever.
But Ananda is something, a very small thing when it comes to aesthetic in the subject of
yes, sir.
Because Ananda is produced through emotions, and how emotions are disturbed or how emotionally you are affected is something that happens through producing a rasa in myself, and at the same time I see to that as an actor I produce it in you. Like how should I make you feel that whatever you said, Ananda, how to make you stick to Ananda for a longer period of time. But if at all a person has the capacity, like if art or an artist, if he has the capacity to make you go to that level of Ananda, which is a temporary thing again, which will stay with you only for a particular period of time. Okay, you can say long, but not forever. It's not eternal, because later on, after Ananda, there is another stage. Like there is something called Paramananda, there is something called Brahmanandam. So these are stages where the critics or any aesthetician, what he tells you is, the moment you become one with God, or once your soul becomes, when it gets united with God, that is the stage where it is defined as Brahmananda. So a very high level. Sir, can we achieve it? No, in a lifetime, it's not possible for a common man to achieve it. It's not my definition as such. That's what I'm saying you again and again. These are definitions which don't have, these are concepts which don't have proper definitions as such, because it's more about experiencing things. It is more about experiencing at your level. You have to experience it and you have to feel it. But an artist can help you to feel that level for temporary period of time. Let's take the example of poetry. poetry is one good way of making you get that ananda. That's why I was yesterday, Pooja Macha has entered the class and she's asking which class. Okay, fine. It's literary criticism, madam. I'm talking about Indian aesthetics. Okay, fine. Yeah, art experience. See, art experience or experiencing something like how do you experience that ananda, or how do you experience that that beauty, which will take you to great heights? Is like suppose you take poetry. You read a poem, or you hear a song. Songs are poetical in nature, or I'm not talking about the present song. Let's go back. In Sufi culture, Wahatudal Wajud is some same like what are you saying? One with God, union experience from inner soul. Yes, sir. Sufi is not something special. Every philosophy as such, like you take Sufism, you take Jainism, you take Buddhism, you take Hinduism, you take any culture, everything talks about the same thing. They talk about the union with God. But what Indian aesthetics is trying to say is it tries to put it in the form of levels, level 1, level 2, level 3. So I'm just using this term level to make you understand that a person can make you, or for instance, Jalaluddin Rumi itself, you can take from Sufi culture. You can take Rumi's poetry. What it does to you is it gives you a kind of emotional upliftment. Like it will help you to elevate to great heights. Like if you can stay for a particular period of time in that happiness, what happens is either you come down, or what happens is you take one shot of anesthesia, you will be numb for a while. But if you take 2 shots, I don't know whether you will go into coma or whether you will be in that nasha thing, I don't know. But what happens is it is called even tanmayatvam. So you hear a song for a particular period of time, or you hear a particular music for a particular period of time, it elevates you. But you hear the same song again, if you what happens is you will hear the same song again, you will read the same poetry again, and the poem has the capacity of elevating to a higher level. So that's what I am trying to say, or the experience that you have to undergo. And every line you go through your unit, you will understand that every line, nothing has a definition as such. Nothing has been defined there. Nothing is permanent here. The entire essay very clearly says this particular person has given this definition. And you find the next generation says, no. This is not the way it has to be defined. It is a different view altogether. And you find the Alankarika school, or the aftermath, like you find critics after critics in the 11th century, 9th century, 12th century. They have given out their views, saying that figures of speech, alankaras, that is the Sanskrit term, but when it comes to English, you can find figures of speech. See, I use some figures of speech to explain the beauty of a particular thing, or to explain what life is, or to explain how I hate a person or how I love a person. So this view that I give out is given in the form of alankarikas, but just giving out figures of speech does not help you to reach goals. What critics say is, they say that content, form of an art should be mixed, or they should be amalgamated with a particular form of music, which will help you to reach that stage. Suppose I give you an example of Rabindranath Tagore. See Tagore's Gitanjali. If you see, yeah, let's not go into Gitanjali as such. Let me take you a very general example. let me give you the very common example that you use every day or hear every day. That's your national anthem, Jana Gana Mana. The moment you are asked to sing Jana Gana Mana, you just sing it like Jana Gana Mana Adinayaka Jaya Bhagya Vigat. You say like this. It doesn't get into your head. But if you sing the same national anthem with a particular stress, particular music, particular mode of singing, what happens is it has the capacity to make you feel, to make your goose pimples raise. It's like there is a kind of nationalistic feeling that comes in you, like I'm an Indian, so I'm singing this song, and you do that with respect, and you are made to stand, and you salute your flag. And what happens is the way you are singing, the method in which it is being sung, that makes the song more powerful. And what happens is that dhwani creates a kind of emotional feeling in you, which says, yeah, India is a nation. There's a bhavana. There is a bhava that is created in you. And this bhava that is created, bhavas are, okay, you can translate them as feelings, or you can translate them as emotions. I told you there are some 32 bhavas. So you are made to feel that emotion. So art, while an artist is performing something, he has to see that, he has to see to that, he has to feel it, and then he has to use a particular mode or method content, and it should be given to the, or it should be projected or acted in such a manner that the person or the spectator who is watching or reading should feel it. And bah, kya likha rahe, kya ga raha hai bhai. Wow. You find a lot of people while giving out this shairis, you can find them saying wow. So why do you say wow? Because that particular person is emotionally disturbing you. So I shouldn't use the word disturbing here, but emotionally there's a kind of distraction. Your general emotion, if you are emotionless, or if you are in a particular emotion, that particular emotion is disturbed through the content, form, and the music that is used by the person who is communicating that shairi to you. So as a spectator, what happens is you feel so happy. Kya bola re? You get that expression only. And if at all you get that expression, for how much time, like until what time is that shairi going on in your head, and how much time you are in the trance state. So that also counts. And while producing all these emotions, or using dhwani, or while using alankaras, you use anything, you use figures of speech, you use everything. But what theory says, you have to see to that, you have to come out as an artist, you have to come out with a rasa, and that particular rasa should be performed or shown through emotions, so that the spectator gets that into his head. He has to feel it, and that emotion should be felt in such a manner that he is elevated to great heights. So rasa in combination with sound, or rasa in combination with a particular figures of speech, or the using of bhavas, you find all these things, when they merge together, they produce something called rasa dhwani. So this rasa dhwani can be produced only if you have, if as an actor, I'm telling you, if as an actor, or as a poet, you can produce this and make that particular person feel happy for eternity. But that's what I told you in the very beginning. Is it possible to make a person be in that elevated state for a long time, like for eternity? It is possible, but how you take and how the other person takes is most important. Because when you look at see without see, there is a statement that is given by one of the critics. If you go through it on 167 page. There is a kind of jugglery of words. Like I use lot of words, powerful words, like నేను నిన్ను ప్రేమిస్తున్నాను, मैं तुमसे प्यार कर रहा हूं, तुम्हें रोज की तरह हो, तुम्हें क्या बोलते हैं, you are like the sunset. And I can use lot of words. I can make it, I can juggle with words. But what happens is without dhvani, without that sound, or without that music, it becomes very difficult for me to make you happy. And that is the reason you find the critic says it very clearly, it's inferior. Without that vyanjana, or without that particular method of saying, without dhvani being used in the right mode, without the right music, or if I sing national anthem, Janagana Mana Madhinayaka Jai Hai, no, it doesn't sound, it doesn't create that effect. But if at all a song is sung in the right manner, or a shayari is told, or a dramatist performs his action by showing raudram in his face, or hasyam in his face, or bhayanakam in his face, or srungaram in his face, that particular carrying forward, what it does is it helps you, or it helps the audience to gain that emotion, and it can make you elevate, and at least for a particular period of time. जैसे ज्यादा नहीं कर सकते हैं, लेकिन लेके जा सकता है. जितना ज्यादा लेके जा सकता है उतना बेहतर है, उतना अच्छा है. Like you say good, better, best. You use that what are they called? Good, better, best. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? I forgot. Okay, fine. You judge a particular thing through its action, or through the way it is presented. Okay. Yeah, I was just talking about Geetanjali also. Like I thought I could use Geetanjali, or I could use some poetry that is classical in India. At least you should have heard about Geetanjali. I don't know how many of you have read Geetanjali or not. Yeah, degrees of comparison. Thank you very much, Kiran Kumar Reddy. It's degrees of comparison, where I can say an actor's performance is good, better, or best. So it's a degree of comparison which goes with the artist and the art that is being performed by that particular person. So poetry, if you can just go through, you can just yeah, I'll give you one more example. See what happens to A.R. Rahman's music. See, 1994, Rahman comes with a music, and later on you find he has given music to a lot of movies by director by A.M. Ratnam. Maniratnam, and yeah, even A.M. Ratnam. But A.R. Rahman's music does not stay for long. It stays only for a particular period of time, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. But why is that A.R. Rahman is forgotten right now? I don't listen to A.R. Rahman anymore. I do listen, but I don't concentrate, or it doesn't elevate me continuously. I forget about it. But when it comes to classics, something like the poems written by, if at all they are sung by Jalaluddin Rumi, sung by somebody, Jalaluddin Rumi, I can give you one example, and the other is I can give you examples of the Nagumomu Kanale. There's a Annamaya. right now I remember Annamaya. So there is singer who has sung songs to God in praise of God. And even today, it's like even after 200 years, Shankara Paranam Mangalam Palli, these people are all Ghantasala Bhagavad Gita, these people are all they're Ramadas. Like you can, I can quote Ramadas, or I can quote Annamaya or people like that in Telugu, because I don't know, I'm not familiar with the other languages or with the other language godly poetry. I'm sorry for that, except Rumi and Tabriz. I know only a few Sufi poets, but I've never heard their poetry. But I find the poetry is still sung in Telugu land. Even after 200 years, you find the song being heard, gives you a kind of divine feeling. So this particular divine feeling which I get even after 200 years, hearing that song or reading that song, is something which an artist has done. So that artist has seen to that he has given some words, or he has seen to that he has maintained that objective correlative idea, which has gone deep into the psyche of which has gone and which is still going into the deep psyche, and it is making me happy. It elevates me as a listener. It helps me to hear it again and again and again and feel a kind of divinely presence, and it makes me feel that I am in front of the divine, or it makes me think that this is the expression that I wanted to express to my God, or to my Almighty. And Sare Jahan se acha Allama Iqbal, it's a national song, Mirza Farooq Beg. It's a song, Allama Iqbal writes it in, we used to sing, and even today you are made to sing. But Allama Iqbal talks about, Allama Sare Jahan se acha is like something, it talks about nationalization. Allama Iqbal cannot be compared with Rumi. Rumi is different. Iqbal is different. Iqbal has an ideology, and he has written. If possible, don't take the example of Sare Jahan Se Acha, but I will ask you to take the example of Allama Iqbal's the question to God or something discussion. I don't remember that particular poetry written by Allama Iqbal. It's Shikwa Jawab Shikwa. Yeah, great. Thank you, Mirza Beg. Thank you very much. Shikwa, you better read Shikwa Jawab Shikwa, and you will understand, or you will feel more elevated for a particular period of time, or you will feel that you are questioning God, or you are having a conversation with God. It looks like as if Iqbal is not speaking, but Mirza Beg is speaking. Like it's more about Mirza Beg's universal idea that kindles, and you feel like, this is what I thought of talking to God. That art, that artwork, that poetry is what we are talking about in the class, and that I can use as an example while using even Gitanjali. Gitanjali also does the same thing. It talks about Tagore sees to that he uses such words. He creates a kind of feeling as an artist, and makes the reader feel, or makes the reader cry. You read Shikwa Jawab Shikwa or Gitanjali, what happens is I can use that term which Sharma sir has just referred to, Tanmayatvam. It's like I go into a trance, tranquility. It's like pura ka pura. It's like taking that hemlock, which Keats says. Your whole body becomes numb, or you go into that. The general term I can use is nasha. It takes you to that nasha, and that nasha is nothing but ananda here. So that anandam, or the moment it makes you cry, it has to make you cry while reading. So if at all, if you are reading Shikwa, Jawab Ye Shikwa, and if you have ever cried, or if you read Gitanjali and the moment you feel like the moment you are reading it, what happens is emotionally you are so disturbed that you feel like crying. That crying is something which has taken you to a higher level. So, but even then, what happens is we are in such a state where Keats says it in a very beautiful line. He says, it's not possible for me to stay here. I have to go back to my world. He bids adieu. He bids adieu. He says, Tata, bye bye. Bird. Why is that sound coming again and again? Just a moment. Fine. Somebody is like messaging me. Yeah, fine. While I'm in the class, I'm putting this YouTube thing. I'm very sorry. Let me close this first because I don't want to be disturbed. I don't want those sounds. Yeah, fine. Sorry for that. And we were talking about this. Yes, sir. I got tears in my eyes. Why did you get those tears? Only because the artist has disturbed you. You read Gitanjali, the same thing will happen with you. There is no God. Even if I'm not wrong, Allama Iqbal doesn't say Allah, or Gitanjali doesn't say Vishnu or Mahesh, or he doesn't say Jesus Christ or Yehovah. No, they don't use those words. They use a particular word like Almighty. That sounds more universal. And that universal word, what happens is it hits our universal consciousness and it makes us cry. And it takes us to higher levels. That's the main thing or main responsibility of any artist who has to perform art or who has to come out with art in such a manner so that it will help us to understand what aesthetics is first. So once we understand aesthetics or once we understand what beauty is, then it means that we have understood what truth is. Okay, let me come down to the next section. Or I'm continuing. It's not that I'm going in between. Like I've already started about talking because Begzab has already helped me in talking about it. See here, art and morality. When we talk about art and morality, let me first talk about ideal. Yesterday we were talking about that particular term, ideal, or I was even mentioning that in the class. IDEAL. What we do is we keep somebody as our ideal, and we perform in accordance to them. Like there was a movie that came out in the 93-94. It was Premadesam. And the movie influenced the youth so much that you go to any barber shop, everybody who were undergraduates, like who were students or who were bachelors, they used to ask the barber, Anna naku mujhe Abbas ki tarah cutting karo, or Vineet ki tarah cutting karo. Like Vineet hairstyle, Abbas hairstyle. Vineet hairstyle, Abbas hairstyle. Both the protagonists in the movie. So everybody were influenced by that particular hairstyle. This is called ideal. Like I wear clothes according to my ideal. I perform, I walk, I talk, I eat, I think, or I do any action by following that ideal. So I like that ideal. Ideal kya hota hai? To it's something very big. It's not that Abbas or Vineet or Shah Rukh Khan or some heroine. दो तीन heroine का नाम बता दो मैडम. Aishwarya Rai, or any actress, they are kept as ideals. Pardon? नया हीरोइंस का नाम भी याद आ रहा है, आज नया
माधुरी दीक्षित, दीपिका पादुकोण.
दीपिका पादुकोण है. ग्रेट, थैंक यू वेरी मच. माधुरी दीक्षित हमारा जमाने की थी मैडम, बुढ़ी हो गई है अब.
रश्मिका मंदाना सर.
रश्मिका मंदाना, everybody. We see them and we imitate them, or we see to that we mimic them. Why do we mimic them? Is because we have kept them as ideals. But what I am trying to say to you is, we keep ideals, but these ideals are very small. Godly ideals are very high. And suppose, like just now we were talking about Allama Iqbal or Rabindranath Tagore, or I can give you examples of Maxim Gorky, who is a very powerful writer who writes a novel called Mother. Or you can read 100 Years of Solitude, which was written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Or you can read, you read fiction. You read fiction. What happens is, there is a kind of fictional world, fictional characters. But those fictional characters are not actual fictional characters. They are taken from life. And when a writer, when an artist takes a fictional character, that fictional character has, if at all, if that character has universal characteristics, what happens is that becomes an ideal for me as a reader. As a reader, they become ideal for me. So what I do is, I try to blindly follow those characteristics of that particular character. So this is what artists can do. What we as spectators have to do is, we cannot just we shouldn't follow ideals that are earthly. That doesn't take you to any level. Like level 1, level 0 में ही हो गया, level 1 भी नहीं जा सकते. But what we are doing is, we are doing the same thing again and again. We are very happy with this level 0. We are not following or we are not trying to idealize higher level of representation. Like Allama Iqbal, Beg would have cried, Beg Sahab would have cried once, but for how much time did he cry, or how much time he thought about Shikwa-e Shikwa or Shikwa Jawab-e Shikwa? That's what he has to think for himself. Or if you have read Gitanjali, for how much time did you think about Gitanjali? Rabindranath Tagore himself says in a short story, there's a short story, I am not getting, I think it's Postmaster. There's a postman or postmaster. If you have time, just go type Postmaster and you read the short story. You will find at the end of the story, the postmaster leaves that village and goes back. He leaves to his town in Calcutta. But there is a kind of philosophical thinking just for 2-3 minutes by the postmaster. Says everybody has to die, everybody has to leave. We cannot keep relationships in this world. He goes on, he consoling himself, or he makes a kind of philosophical reflection in his mind for leaving that child, for leaving that small girl who works in his house. She was his only companion for more than 1.5 years or 1 year or so. So when he's in the village, the girl is the girl who cooks for him, who talks to him, who was a very good companion to him. But the moment he gets fever, and when he wants to leave to his family, he applies for a transfer, but they don't give the transfer, and he resigns the job and he leaves for Calcutta. The girl asks, "Dada, मुझे लेके जाओ, आपके साथ में लेके जाओ, मैं भी तुम्हारे साथ आना चाहता हूँ." No, he says, he just laughs. There's a kind of निन्नत लतीफ को पता, आपको कैसे लेके जाता हूँ, such reply. Yeah, the girl feels terrible, like बहुत उसको भी लगती है, लेकिन वो कुछ बोल नहीं पाती. She's unable to say anything. And this fellow, when he is on the boat, there's a kind of philosophical disturbance that happens in his mind, but only for a temporary period of time. The moment the boat crosses, boat leaves the the arena of that particular village, automatically he will forget about the girl, he will forget about death, he will forget about the relationships or the human relation. He will forget that human relationships are not eternal, are not eternal. So you find an artist is trying to help you to understand what art is. And the next topic, why I am trying to say all this to you is, I thought of talking about art and morality, the relationship between art and morality. So I thought first, let me talk about Geetanjali, but Begzab made me talk in advance. Okay, yeah. See, you check out 168, page number 168, you'll find that art, there's a definition there. There's a line there. You just read that. Art cannot be unconnected with morality. Since art experience is essentially disinterested, and disinterestedness is the very root of all morality. So, see, that the two views of reality justifying the need for art, namely the idealistic and the pessimistic. Oh, let me not talk about the pessimistic thing right now. Let me talk about it later. But let me talk about how morality plays a major role here. Okay. See, there are different views. Remember that everybody has their the alankarikas or the critics or Indian aestheticians. They have given different definitions for everything for them, or they have tried to define beauty by using poetry, which is more Indian, like the Indian subcontinent had Ramayana and Mahabharata, which are epics, like which are like very big epics. It's like you cannot compare even compare Homer and Iliad. Odyssey and Iliad are very small, the Greek epics, but these are like, yeah, Sharma, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, there are reciprocal loneliness leading to friendship. Yes, people are responding. I am very happy that you are responding on the chat. Okay, fine. See, if you take, if you generally look at the class situation, the conventional, the traditional class, what happens is when the teacher teaches a story, or in your 5th or 6th class, your teacher should have taught you a story, like which is again in the syllabus, some story, some XYZ story, which is written by Chekhov, or which might have been written by Somerset Maugham, or by Tagore, or anybody. Finally, there should have been a question that should have been posed to you by the teacher. What is the moral of the story? So what is that you have learned from the story? So what is this moral? Can anyone just put it in a line or two, how you define morality, so that I can continue with what I am trying to explain to you. What is morality? What is the moral that you learn from stories, or what according to you is moral? Niti, okay. It's my personal experience, sir. After reading Shikwa, it changed my way of thinking. It made me to believe
moral values, sir.
Pardon?
Following the moral values.
That's what. What are these moral values? You are again.
Right or wrong, sir? What is right or wrong?
Okay, what is this right and wrong?
You are concerned with right or wrong.
Helping us to know the unknown.
It's a path of living. Okay. The notion of right or wrong. Okay. Deals with doing the right thing. Okay. Yeah. Still.
Sir, helping us to know the unknown.
Okay.
To move in a right path.
What is the right path?
సార్
Yes.
మోరల్ వాల్యూస్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎవరికైనా ఒకటి కమిట్ అయ్యి మళ్ళీ దానికి రెస్పాన్స్ కాకపోవడం.
No.
Okay. Okay.
అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎవరికైనా చిన్న ఇష్యూలో కమిట్ అవుతాము.
Okay.
కమిట్ అయ్యి దానికి ఫుల్ఫిల్ చేయకుండా మళ్ళీ మనము ఎస్కేప్ అవడం.
ఓకే, ఇంకా
కరెక్టేనా?
కరెక్టే చెప్తున్నావు, కాకపోతే సమాజంలో ఇది పాటిస్తామంటావా? దీన్ని మనం క్లాస్ లో చెప్పుకోవచ్చా?
It's defining manifesting principles.
ఓకే, గుడ్ గుడ్. సార్ మీరు తెలుగులో ఎవరు మాట్లాడారో పేరు తెలియడం లేదు నాకు.
నా పేరు పవన్ సార్.
పవన్ సార్, మనము ఓకే మారల్ అంటే మంచి డెఫినేషన్ ఇచ్చారు. యూ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ ఎ వెరీ గుడ్ explanation to what morality is or what moral is. Giving a commitment, giving a word to somebody and not standing on the word is one sort of example that I can give. Or yeah, somebody is saying, Umesh is saying what society requires, that becomes moral.
The idea about right and wrong, sir, especially how should you act and treat other people.
Okay. But what is this, who has decided this right and wrong thing? I need, I'm happy with whatever you are saying. Way of living with good behavior and good character in the society. Yeah, these definitions are good, quote unquote. But our ancestors, Umesh says our ancestors have decided. Our ancestors did not know or haven't seen mobile phone. Am I right, Umesh? They have not seen mobile phone. They have not used the mobile.
Yes, sir.
But,
Yes, sir.
right now you find a lot of moral things that are not moral. It's more of immorality, or I can say that it is bad to your health and to even your lifestyle. So our ancestors have not decided. Am I right?
Yes sir.
Yeah, then tell me.
Yes, sir.
Depends on the situation, sir. Moralities depend on the situation.
Morality depends on the situation. Our elders or grandparents tell
Like
us what is good or
what
bad.
is right for me, like this not right for others.
That
It's a lesson, sir. It's a lesson we get to know.
Okay, fine.
Our message
What is good and what is bad?
We are in a very traditional society. My internet connection is not stable, is unstable. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. You have good understanding. You have very good understanding of that what is good and what is bad. You are all well experienced people. But when it comes to whatever you say is correct, but I'm unable to explain to you, or I'm unable to go against against the definitions that you are saying, or I am not able to defend or explain to you about the present contemporary situation, because I am a person who is still in a dilemma to understand what moral is.
So, like, see, in the beginning days, when God has told, Adam and Eve to touch all the fruit from the garden except the apples which are grown in the middle of the garden. But they were tempted by the devil, and they happened to eat the fruit of that particular tree, and then immediately they realized that they were naked. So
no. I don't I'm a Hindu. I don't believe in. I'm a Buddhist, or I'm a Jainist, or I'm a Sufist. I don't believe in Adam and Eve. Then what?
If you don't believe in Adam and Eve, then like he says, like he's going back to the generations that we were taught that, morals are define our character. It manifests who we are and what we do.
Our holy books are saying it, sir.
Our holy books are saying it, and we are following them blindly.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are learning it from that.
Fine, great. But let me.
Guidelines, practical guidelines, or
Okay, your religious book following that morals. Anyhow, that's good. Let me stop the discussion, or let me stop the class right now, because I don't want to carry this forward. Let me take this class forward the next week. I think it's 5:20.
Yes, sir.
When does my class end?
5:30, sir.
5:30.
Yes, sir.
Oh, still we have 10 minutes. So fine.
Yes.
So I'm sorry for that. Everybody has a kind of general moral. Pardon?
మళ్ళీ ఏంది ఓగా సజ్జంత వరకు దాకా
क्लास में कोई झगड़ा कर रहा है देखो.
No, their mic is on, sir.
That's what I'm saying. No? So by mistake their mic is on and we are able to understand. We are. This is what I am trying to convey to you from last 10 minutes. I'm trying to say the same thing. We are eat sugar. So when it comes to the question of morality or moral, what happens is, without me experiencing or without me disciplining myself, it becomes very difficult for me to tell what moral is, or what to decide, or to decide what good is, what bad is. So that's the reason I am holding and I am asking you people, like, what opinion do you have about morals and morality? Everybody has a kind of general moral view. Okay, fine. But the ideal, what it does is, what artist does is, or what art should do is, the art should follow, or the artist should follow a particular moral which will help you live a good life or a happy life. Whether, see, I just now we were talking about heroes, heroines, or religious books, or Jalaluddin Rumi or Tagore. We were talking. We have taken a lot of examples. We have taken. We have to still go through them, or we don't have even the capacity to understand or criticize them. So let me tone down, and let me talk about examples, or let me take live examples or everyday examples, but taking them in a very general sense. The artist, what aesthetics has to do is, like, when you are showing when you're performing, or when a person is writing, what he has to do is, he has to remember that he has become an ideal, and he is representing something to the society, and the person, the spectator, whoever it might be, it's the responsibility of the artist that he has to be sure that the other person is going to take this person as an ideal, and maintain a kind of discipline which will help the spectator to live a good life.
Excellent.
But is that happening? That's what is my question. Like Allu Arjun says something. Why they are saying, we don't know. He comes for the Zomato ad. He says, buy Zomato. How far Zomato is good, Allu Arjun doesn't care. And there is an advertisement by Mahesh Babu. He comes, he says, drink dew and you can fly in air. So all these advertisements, or all these performances, whatever is being done, are being taken as an ideal and being implemented by us. It is not that everybody is doing that. Everybody has their own ideal, and that ideal should be something that helps the spectator while an artist is performing. It has to elevate the person to higher levels. That is what morality is in accordance to your textbook. Okay, the textbook talks in a very, very general sense. It doesn't say that something is good, something is bad, because everybody's viewpoint is that everybody is good, everybody is bad. So your way of thinking, or your ideal, or your lifestyle, or your religious text, or your God, or your style of living what it tells you is that the person who is sitting in front of you is good or bad. So I become bad to some, I become good to some, only because you are not looking at me from an individual point of view, which again is a very difficult task. You are looking at me, or you are taking me or judging me, critiquing me only through your lifestyle, your father, your mother, your society, your teacher, and so on. So, but what aesthetics tells is, or what aesthetics assigns to the artist is, it says, first, try to take out everything. Don't judge according to your perspective. You have to see that it shouldn't be a subjective thing, but it should be an objective thing. So you have to judge something from an objective point of view. And this judging, which is very difficult task, is what the performer has to do. But how far is this performance going on with every artist who is performing or who is doing, who is acting, we don't know. But when you take classics, or when you look at the dance performance of a particular representation, like if you take Bharatanatyam, or if you take Kuchipudi, or if you take Kathak, or you take any classical dance, what they do is they perform a particular dance in such a manner that they show the Ramayana part, or the Mahabharata part, or the Gandhian part, or the Aurobindo part. They perform, they try to show the emotional, they try to perform or depict that emotion through their dance or through their acting. And that particular acting, what happens is, it has to represent morality so that it will help the spectator to gain Ananda or Paramananda or Brahmananda or whatever. But when it comes to definitions, we don't have definitions as such, but there are explanations to everything. Remember, you read it, you will find that most of the poets or most of the classists, what they have done is they have taken everything from the epics. Mainly Mahabharata and Ramayana play a major role while Indian aesthetics is discussed, because the poem, it's a poem. The poems that were written are written in such a manner that they are, it's not just blank verse. Remember, they have meters. There are a lot of figures of speech used. When a particular person is described, the particular person is described by the usage of figures of speech. That is where the Alankara Shastra plays a major role in Indian aesthetics. Let me give you one example. There is a poem by Robert Burns. If possible, just go online, just Google and read that poem. A very short poem. The poem goes something like this: my love is like a red rose. So the person is trying to talk about his love or his lover, and he's trying to say that my love is like, she's similar or she's like a red rose. He uses the word red twice. He could have said, my love is like a rose, or he could have said, my love is like a red rose. But what he does in the very beginning of the poem is, my love is like a red rose. He uses the word red twice. So now you should have thought, like, why is this writer using the word red twice? Because he's emphasizing on that particular color, and he's saying that she's so beautiful that I cannot use other words. Like, he's trying to compare. So this sort of comparison or this sort of description, what it does is it helps you to get more closer to what the author is, or what the dramatist or what the poet is trying to say. So you can try to go closer, or you can move closer to that particular poem, or you can become one with that poem, or become one with that line, or with that understanding, and then you can start feeling it. Just now, Beg was telling me that he cried while reading Shikwa Jawab-e-Shikwa. So reading, crying, watching, crying, what it does is, yeah, and he is crying because the artist has depicted, like the example just right now I told you. You get into it. You get into it.
Metaphorically, he is comparing.
That's what he is using. He is using metaphors or similes, or he uses. You can use even the Balakrishna example. Like I told you, Balakrishna is most of the Balakrishna movies are full of hyperboles. So everything is represented through figures of speech. Most of the poetry, it has when poetry is like rich. When it becomes rich only through figures of speech. And these figures of speech, they have that capacity of disturbing you emotionally. And that disturbance of emotions, what it does is it elevates you. And that is the same thing what the aestheticians are trying to tell you, that art, artist, morality, nature, or you take any of these concepts, what they do is they help you out, they help the spectator, or they help the reader to go to great heights. Yeah, tell me. Still any discussions that still I find 75 participants. I don't know whether 75 of them are listening, or they have just switched on their videos.
All become very attentive when it comes to criticism, sir.
Yeah, fine. Thank you very much, ma'am. It's not thank you for me, but it's thank you for being attentive to literary criticism. Fine. Thank you. Should I wind up, or if or anyone has any questions or comments?
Sir, name the poet once again, sir. Robert. What is the name?
Pardon?
The poet name you said, no, sir, just now.
Robert Burns. B-U-R-N-S, Burns. Robert Burns. Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, Robert Burns. Robert Burns.
Okay, thank you.
Still. Or would you like me to wind up? Anyhow, thank you. Let's meet the next class.
Thank you, sir.
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 Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Have a good
Close. అయిపోయింది. Vicky. అదే ఎంత కొట్టినా పోతలేదు.